Welcome back to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by Oak Bridge Wealth Management. I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein, who has what looks to be a mugshot in front of us today. Bernie, how we doing?
Imagine this guy talking to you all day. Like, how did this happen at the bars and girls gave me the time of a day? Look at this dude. It's not a mugshot. Thanks a lot, Matt Perkins.
That's what it looked like.
It looks like, first off, every day is a holiday being here on the podcast. Yes. That is, so in 2004 or 5, the stadium said, why don't start imposing security at the stadium so anyone just couldn't walk in without a key card. That was the picture I had of my key card. If you look at it, no broccoli hair here, though. It just was horrible hair, thick neck, 22-inch neck, bigger than biceps, bigger than Hulk Hogan's bicep. But it wasn't, I don't know why I never smiled for any pictures. I look like a complete psycho, but that was, culture. No one smiled.
Back. That's what it was expected of you.
But those are the times. See, this is what happens. It's this time of year when new things are happening. It's exciting. It's almost June, which means that we're like right around the corner, man.
We are right around the corner. Got some big official visits coming up this weekend, next weekend, following weekend for recruits, future Badgers. Hopefully, the current team is lifting, making their way out of the spring, heading towards building up towards Squat Fest this year. Which is exciting to not just have all the guys who are early enrollees, but the kids who are graduating high school start coming to matriculate a little bit. So if you are a collegiate athlete, future collegiate athlete, or a professional athlete, if you've got NIL deals, Bernie, what do you got to do? You got to get your money right. And who do you get your money right with? Our main man, Chris Anicetti, and his entire team at Oak Bridge Wealth Management. Athletes train hard to be best on the field, but who's making sure they're winning off the field? We'll tell you who. Chris frickin' Anicetti. Oak Ridge Wealth Management doesn't just manage your money. They handle your entire financial world, from building a rock-solid financial plan tailored for athletes to paying your bills, budgeting, setting up LLCs, securing financing for cars, equipment, and whatever else you need to focus on your game. Oak Bridge Wealth Management is here for you. They do one thing and one thing only, and that is take care of money for athletes. They know all of the difficulties that collegiate and professional athletes navigate on a day-to-day basis, and they are here for you. If you're a collegiate athlete or parent of a collegiate athlete navigating NIL opportunities, make sure to get in touch with Chris and his team on Instagram at oakbridgewm_Anicetti. That's oakbridgewm_ANICETE, or head on over to their website, oakbridgewealthmgmt.com. Chris Anicetti, Oak Bridge Wealth Management. Get your money right. How long have we been telling people to do that?
I just wish I made money and I had Chris Anicetti in my life a long time ago, because then I would have had more money now as a 42-year-old.
Yeah, hopefully, but to be fair, if you were making all that money back then, you wouldn't be hanging out with me. So
that is not true, Matt Perkins. This was bound to happen. But dude, even like insurance on your body, like there are so many things that Chris Anicetti knows and can do for you that you don't even know. I don't know. Everyone doesn't know. I met Chris too late, but I also don't have money like his people do, or I'm not an athlete anymore. But I have a financial advisor who literally knows what to do. It's great. I don't know anything.
It's great. Yeah. If you want to make money, talk to people who know how to make money.
That's exactly their job, is to do all these things. Listen, we're going into a deep hole here, but Chris Anicetti is a genius at what he does. And you want longevity in your financial wealth. You don't want to just buy a car and then all of a sudden it's gone in 3 years. Like, that's not the goal. Chris's goal is for it to be your guide through life.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that, but your financial guy's going to be like your brother or your sister for the rest of your life. And God forbid you have money at 50. Like, it's great. It's great news.
I certainly hope that all of those people do. So, Bernie, though, it's, we're still in the off season. Let's talk about a little bit, like, sort of just what's going on around the Badgers right now. It feels like there's a lot of negativity, a lot of people whining about, the Badgers over under. Are they going to get 5 wins? Are they going to make a game? Bernie, you and I have been talking here for 6 months that it's not that we don't care what the final record is, but the final record of this team, I think, is not one of the 5 first indicators that I am looking at into the success of the season.
Oh, if we're talking about top 5, I think it might be 4 or 5, but I think the top 3 or 4 are just successes in a lot of places. I agree. We've been talking a lot about, hold on, the church bells. Could you hear them?
A little bit.
Ding, ding, dong, Wisconsin. Let's go.
You know what?
Best record.
But those church bells are consistent. I want to see a consistent team on the field this year.
That's right.
I want to put a team that does consistent effort. Church bells ring on the hour every hour. The Badgers are going to show up to play on the down every single day.
Actually, this church bells, they're all over the place. It's actually kind of comical. I love it.
Oh.
But again, I think, listen, you over under Matt Perkins. Do we win 5 games or more? Are you over under?
You know, Bernie, my problem is that I am overly optimistic every season.
I would say over, but I'm overly optimistic. And we're playing probably one of the toughest schedules we've played in
it's probably the toughest schedule. I think it might be the toughest schedule ever for Wisconsin.
Could be.
Really do.
6 teams out of 13 or 12 are in the top 20, 25. Yeah. That's ruthless. I mean, to start preseason, right? But still, you don't really look at that. Usually you look at your schedule and you have like 2 or 3 games in the top 25, not 6. That's half of your schedule. It's wild. And I think that's why you come to play at Wisconsin, though, is to play against the big dogs and to potentially win. Again, I would say this over and over again. I want to see people having a really good time playing football. I want to see the culture shift, and I want to see. Honestly, I just want to see a better product on the field. Those are my top 3. Like, enjoy it, play better, and then you have a chance to win. Now that becomes 4 and 5, right? 4, 5 might be what's the record. But I think a lot of people in Wisconsin and the nation are saying this team's not going to do well because of the record. And I think this is
because of the schedule.
Schedule and record, right? Schedule, because the record's at the end of the year, but the schedule. And I think you have to say this is one of the most impossible schedules. But for the foundation of the football team, like, we're almost starting anew here. New offensive coordinator. Some guys have stuck around. Like, this is a new culture. Like, we need to build on this. It looks like Fickle has doubled down on, hey, this is a grown-ass man's game. That makes me happy too. So, long story short, I think that the over-under, although it's going to be hard to win 6, 7, 8 games, I'd be pumped with a bowl game. I think that would be amazing. I think we're over. I think we're going to see some things that where the last 3 years are just wash. Last 2 years.
I'll go 7 and 5 because I'm an eternal optimist and because I do think that this offense will be much, much better. I think they'll be much better. It's going to be better. I'm still very much worried about losing Kevin Haywood for the year at left tackle. That's my biggest concern for the offense at the moment. Our defense, Bernie, we can hear as much great stuff as we want coming out of camp, but until I see run fits done appropriately on the field and a defensive line that's not being pushed 6 yards back at the line of attack, or the point of attack, I should say, I'm going to withhold my judgment.
Right. But I would push back and say we got depth and we got bigger dudes, right? Like, that's what you kind of want. And we got linebackers who've been there, and the DBs are all guys who've played. So all veterans. I'm hopeful. Listen, if the offense can stay on the field a little bit longer, I mean, we put our defense in a real terrible position last year. They were on the field most of the game. That's never a win. The defense doesn't have a great opportunity to score. So I'm with you. We just got to stay on the field. Even if we don't score a ton of points, we just got to stay on the field. We got to control the ball and not have our defense out there as much as possible.
Yeah, let's, Bernie, when you were coming off of not going to a bowl, you were on that last team that didn't come to a bowl. What was the offseason like, and what were those offseason lifts like? Because I imagine that those guys right now are going through some of the same stuff.
I don't know if they are. I mean, maybe. I think Brady Collins is amazing, and I think he whoops people's butts into shape. But you're talking, this is a day when, this is 2001? We didn't go. This is 24 years ago. There's no social media. My cell phone didn't work. Think about this, Matt Perkins. I could be in the weight room and get MF'd up,
All
down,
day.
left, and right all day. They could tell me what I had to do. I could run until I threw up. Who's going to stop them? No one. You're not calling your mom. You're not like, hey, come pick me up. Like, that's not happening. So what was the lift like? It was awful. I mean, that offseason was awful. And not one person would say anything for it. But also, I was just there. So that to me I didn't know the other. Like, I didn't know what a bowl game was. I didn't know how important it was because I didn't know it yet. But then to say we're not going, it's like going to the playoffs pretty much. I mean, that's what a bowl game is. Not the actual playoffs, but like back then it was a playoff game, right?
It meant something.
It meant something. And you always played a SEC team usually, and it meant more because you're playing an SEC team. But it was awful, man. I just remember, and we told this story, but JD came in, he was livid, no bonuses. We lifted through finals. Lifting through finals, like imagine a high school teacher would be like, how dare you do that? Or parents would be like, are you joking? But they're not joking because football is a business and it's important. Okay, so I left as early as, but my last final was the last day of school, and I was on a plane that night to get the hell out of Dodge because I did not want to continue lifting. And when you were done with your finals, you could leave. But some guys had to stay. Like if you had finals during finals week or the end, you had to stay for 4 or 5 more days. I don't know what they did because I wasn't there and I didn't ask, but I'm sure it was awful, like terrible. We came back January 14th, 15th, the day after Martin Luther King Day, or maybe that day. I can't remember if we lifted on that day or not, but it was somewhere around then. And it was full throttle, dude. Like the first day, I remember JD always made us do these things called shotguns. 25-yard down and backs or 15 yards down and back 6 times. And you basically did it until somebody threw up. Like there was no end. He wasn't like, you're going to do 6 of these. He was like, you're going to do 6. And if somebody doesn't throw up, we're going to do 7. And there was always somebody who threw up because, for 2.5 weeks of off time, which is pretty crazy, maybe less, maybe more, depending on schedule. Like I worked out every day. I was scared to come back. But it was cold. I didn't run outside. It's like everyone came back not in good shape. It was just awful the whole entire time. That was when they started implementing at the end of workouts, you would do competitions. It was like core holds, like, holding a plank. I always went against Stocco. If your team lost and you lost twice, so you had to run more. So like it was always, I just remember, first off, I was doing dips against Sparky. I'm 150 pounds heavier than that guy. Although I could do a lot of dips at the time, I was never winning. And Bot used to laugh. He thought it was funny. I'm like, this is ridiculous. We would do that. We would do plank holds. I mean, we did so much competition because they were so mad that we didn't go to a bowl game, that the ramp up was bananas. So I'm assuming that they're going through this and doing these things that are terrible. Even like this, when it was a Mifflin block party, we would always go in the morning. We did a team volunteer day on Mifflin on a Saturday. And what that entailed was getting to the stadium at like 6 or 7 o'clock, getting bussed somewhere to paint a house, clear some shrubs, do volunteer stuff. Volunteering, I love. I think it's amazing. On Saturday at Mifflin, it's not really what I want to do. So you would show up and then they, like you always had lunch after. So you'd go back to the stadium, you had lunch, anything to do to hold you there for as long as possible. And then you'd show up at Mifflin at like 3 o'clock, which might have been a godsend since by then I'm sure you and everybody else is almost like blacked out.
I don't think I ever made it past like 1:30 in the afternoon.
Exactly. We were watching people fall in dumpsters.
In four Mifflins, I don't think I ever mid it past like 1:30 or 2. There's no chance.
So there's like all these things. Friday after class, we would have a 4 o'clock. What would we call it? Like a team? It was stations. You'd run from station to station. You're doing these stations. You're wearing a weight vest. Sometimes they have music on. The coaches are able to do it. There's like the 1 hour a week that could be there. I mean, it was a lot, Matt Perkins, just a lot.
I'm really sorry.
What we'd into, which was nuts? I don't remember throwing a lot. Like, we didn't really use footballs. I don't know if it was a rule back then that we couldn't. Maybe the coaches couldn't be there, but we didn't do a lot of running plays on our own, which is kind of, I don't know if it was weird or not, but we worked out, all day, every day. And then you go home for like 2 weeks at the end of the year, and when you come back, it is not only full throttle, that the season's right around the corner. So it's turned up. You didn't know there were notches above the highest notch, and there is. And that's when, you throw in the stadiums, and then you throw in doing, 7-on-7 as a team. That's when we started doing plays in the summer, plus having a job, plus school. It was ruthless. But again, I look back and I'm like, I've never had more fun in my entire life, but gearing up for the season is so stressful, dude. You got 12, 13 games. That's a long season, man. And it's not like you're playing powder puffs. Like no one's coming in to like just let you win. Like Middle Tennessee State is that what we were playing first?
I don't even remember Miami of Ohio, maybe.
None of these teams are just going to be like, yeah, you guys should here we go. Here's a victory. They're coming in to play hard football, and they know, I'm sure their coaches are saying, hey, listen, Wisconsin's down. They don't know who they are yet.
Yeah.
Let's not give
Miami
them that
of
opportunity.
Ohio week 1 and then MTSU week 2. So.
Got it. It's week 2, and then Alabama week 3.
Yep.
Those are 2 good games to ramp up. I'm excited. Listen, those are 2 wins. Those are 2 teams we could beat.
Listen, they better be. My goddaughter is going to be a junior at MTSU next year, so she'll be rooting for the Blue Raiders. But
the Blue Raiders, you learn a lot about these teams that you've never heard of when they come to. But
when you live in the middle part of Tennessee, you know a thing or two about Middle.
Yes, touche. But listen, Matt Perkins. Again, I think we should start 2-0. And I think,
my God, if they don't start 2-0, the walls are coming down. Like,
I don't know if the walls aren't coming. If we lose to Middle Tennessee State University,
you lose to a MAC Conference USA team, like,
I don't think the walls are falling down. But I think losing both, yes, for sure. That's not good. That's very bad. I think losing one game, not the end of the world. But I think to put ourselves in the best possible position to tell all the naysayers that we should be better or we're going to do better, you got to win those 2. You got to win those 2 games.
A lot of naysayers these days, Bernie. There's a lot
of haters.
A lot of haters these days. Or it's just like, I don't know if they're haters. I think they're just pessimists. Like,
Matt Perkins, is Wisconsin football, like, you and I have this hard thing because we're obsessed with it and we know the people and the pieces and everything. Yeah. But if you try to take a huge step back and you look at like Wisconsin unbiased, yeah. Do you say, man, Wisconsin's really down now from our 30 years of being good?
Yeah.
Like now,
I say there is maybe 2. They are 2 standard deviations below the norm over the past 2 years. Because if you think like, I would say like the norm for 30 years, if you want to take like, it's like 9 wins, right? Like the norm is 9 wins. They've won 5 games. And 6 games in the first 2 seasons under Fickle. And so, like, to me, yeah, they have taken a step back. It's unequivocal.
So we're bottom. How many teams are in the Big Ten? 18. So what you think we're
13.
We're 13, but are we actually
12,
13?
I think we're 12 or 13 at this moment.
Okay. Which is so here's what I'm hoping Brady and
I don't know, Brady, let's figure it out right now. Let's figure out where are they in the Big Ten. Okay, teams we know that are.
Who are the teams below them?
The below. Okay, I would say let's start from the top. Let's start. Who is in a healthier place? Ohio State,
Michigan,
USC, Oregon, Penn State. Yes, yeah, definitely.
Penn State. Yeah, I get it.
I would say Illinois. Illinois is on a roll right now. They're recruiting, is killing it. Brett is doing really well.
Yep.
Iowa for consistency.
Okay. Indiana.
Yeah. Well, Indiana, we'll see if they're a flash in the pan or not.
We'll see. We'll see
if they're a flash in the pan or not. I do think Michigan State made the right hire last year with Jonathan Smith. Now, I think if you want to look for like a tier right now, maybe if you want to look at the tier that Wisconsin is in, they're in a tier right now with Michigan State, Maryland, probably Minnesota.
Okay.
Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Below them, I'd say Purdue for sure. Northwestern,
Rutgers,
UCLA.
UCLA. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like Luke Fickell's staff hasn't proven anything. We like them. Like, we really like them.
Yes.
Right, Bernie? Like, we love Coach Collins. We like Coach Fick. Like, we like him a lot. We want him to succeed so badly.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've met him. Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. Like, ultimate dude. You want to hang out, have a few beers with him. He's a natural leader. He's someone you want to follow. But the results have to come on the field. Like, it's a binary, right? You're either succeeding on the field or you're failing, and there's no in between. As much as you may want someone and they're a good person and you want to see them succeed and you will root for them, to me, like, it really just comes down to, for better or for worse, in 2025, it's all about the culture of success on the field, and all that matters is that. And all the secondary stuff, all of the larger program stuff saying, oh, we graduate so many guys, we have a great graduation record, we have an amazing program culture, that matters less now than it ever has.
I know, I feel like it's so sad. I mean, it didn't matter. It was nice to hear when you're with your parents, or you hearing it. Like, it's nice to hear, but now it almost is like not even close to the top of any list of, like, is your school a good school? It's so sad. I find that as an 18-year-old knucklehead, Wisconsin, where it stood and as like a university didn't matter to me, but I knew it was great, but it didn't matter where we were. And now it feels like it doesn't even matter if you're a community college or the University of Wisconsin. As long as they have a good football team, like, nobody cares. And it's so, to me, it's just bizarre that we've lost, like, this student athlete. Because, again, football ends, all sports end. Like, you cannot keep playing sports. You get old at some point. Like, that's just it. So what is that? 40 if you're lucky, 30 if you're lucky, 25 if you're lucky to play in the NFL a couple years. Like, you have to be a professional in something for 50 years, 40 years, 30. Like, that's a long time. So if you don't do the right things, like, I've had friends, Brandon Williams went back, like, a bunch of guys had to go back and get their degree. And it just happened. Like, you go play in the NFL. Good idea. Make that money. But you have to have a longevity plan. And I feel like that doesn't matter anymore. We don't need to go into this. Let's just talk about the football, because nobody cares about other people's longevity.
Let's talk about official visits, because if you are someone who follows recruiting like I do, then you know that this weekend, next weekend, and the following weekend are the biggest weekends of the year for official visits. And Wisconsin has something like 7 kids committed right now for the 2026 class. In 3 weeks' time, that should look like 22. Like, that class should be absolutely blowing up in the next couple of weeks. They have prospects from all over the country coming in. This weekend, the big name is the committed quarterback Ryan Hopkins, who's the quarterback of the future out of California, who's poised to have a really big senior year. But they've got guys coming in from Florida, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Texas, Tennessee. A bunch of guys from Tennessee, actually, is really interesting. You name it, they've got guys coming in. But official visits have changed a lot since you did yours 25 years ago or whatever, Bern, until now. Nowadays, everyone's doing them in the spring. Everyone does them now in May and June is pretty much every D1 program. That is when 90 to 95% of official visits happen. Not like when you did it, Bern, in the fall, when you guys would host guys during the season and things like that. So, Bernie, I want to, for those of you who haven't heard, I think we talked about your official, like, way back on the first episode that you and I did together.
Yeah.
What was that, like 4.5 years ago or something?
A long time ago.
3.5 years, whatever. It's like, this is episode like 300 or something like that. Now
we're coming up, because wasn't it in August when we had it?
Yeah, maybe? It was August. Yeah, August 01, I want to say. I think.
We're almost 4 years.
Yeah, it'll be our 4th anniversary. It'll be our 5th season together. So, which is pretty awesome. I must say.
Pretty awesome. I think it's great.
I must say, Bern. But let's talk about your official. You went in the fall.
Fall. I went in December.
December. So you didn't have a game day official. You had like a post Thanksgiving. So were they in bowl practice while you were doing the official?
Bowl practice? I don't even know if they were there. Yes, they must have been in bowl practice. Yeah, they had to be. No, yeah, they had to be because because it was like mid-December. There's no reason why they wouldn't be, and all the guys were there. Duh. So yes, I already committed before my senior year to Wisconsin, and I think at that point, verbal commits meant more.
Oh,
people weren't trying to flip you. No one was calling me, but like, are you sure you don't want to come here? Like, we had more money. Like, there was none of that. So when I verbally committed and I was off you're almost off the board. And it's interesting, right? Like, I thought that was great. Like Syracuse stopped coming around. They weren't playing. They had nothing. Like, what can you give me? I'm going to play fullback at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Like, it's the best place in the world. So when I showed up, there are a bunch of dudes who are like, I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, well, what are you thinking about? Look at how much fun we're having. But, I was with Jason Posiak. Who was my host? I think it was Tony Pasciotti. And I was with those guys, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I was definitely with Posiak. I can't remember everyone who's there, but you do whatever you want to do. I mean, this is, again, 25 years ago. This was also pre 9/11, right before 9/11. So, you walk into a bar with your mom's Blockbuster card. Ain't nobody checking it, because they were like, this is a recruit. And it sounds stupid and you watch it on, like movies, but that was what it was like. I couldn't believe it.
What is it, Blue Mountain State?
That movie's out of control. I love it. And I think they're bringing it back. It's so stupid, but it's
Well, I thought that was a TV show, not a movie.
It was a TV show. It's so blatantly asinine, but I thought it was so fun. I watched it just recently. I couldn't stop laughing. It's so stupid. But a lot of those things do actually happen. Like, you have houses with all football guys. You have parties all day long, like, significant others or whatever you want to call them at the time are in and out. Like, it's nuts. The whole thing. So it's nuts. But yeah, we went to the bars. Every morning was brutal. You do all these things. You go to the stadium. You walk in the stadium. You see everything. You meet all the coaches. You're doing all these things hungover. Maybe some people weren't. I'm sure they weren't, but I was definitely hungover the whole time. But I think things have changed. One, if you look at the demographics of like the world now, kids don't drink heavy. So there's I think there's a lot of new things going on. Like, I never did drugs, but they say drug use is down. I don't know if that's true or not, because I'm not a drug person, but drinking's down. I've talked to a lot of people who are like, our business is getting crushed by people just not drinking anymore. I'm helping them out as much as I can, believe me. But what do? Like, we've talked to some guys, like, they build community. They get introduced to other guys. They go and play video games. They just do different things. So I think the entirety of what you can do has changed. Do people still want to go to the bars? Maybe. Or do they want to go sit at the Union? I don't know. Like, I don't know I think it's just different. But those for me, the visit wasn't super important because I was already committed. But for some of the other guys, like my first year, we had John Stocco. Owen Daniels was my roommate, and Owen had John Stocco. I didn't get anyone this week. They give you like $40 cash, and they're like, show them a good time. They're like, and you have to be here, here, and here. Because when you were with your host, you would go to eat dinners, which was honestly, as a freshman, I want somebody every week because you get to go to the Avenue Bar and eat like ribeye. It was delicious. But so Stocco shows up. We're at the Towers. It's a Friday night or a Saturday night. Owen and I Owen wasn't so much of a drinker until he came and hung out with us a little bit. And then he so we're having beers. We're having a good time. Stocco's not touching it. He doesn't want anything to do with it. The whole time you're like, man, this guy is never going to come here. But you're just nice. You enjoy the time. You're just asking like, dude, Stocco, what do you want to do? We went to the bar still because it was still fun to do. Stocco showed up. I had dudes who are like, this is the best weekend of my life. And then went to Georgetown. And the coaches are like, yo, Bern, it's like the third dude who didn't come here. I'm like, coach, it's like spring break with me, baby. Like, they're having the best time of their life and they don't want to come back. Like, they already had the best time. I just kept saying I can't remember who the coordinator was. Jeremy Sins. I'm like, Coach Sins, stop giving me people, man. Towards the end of my career, I was like, just stop, dude. Nobody comes. And you guys just yell at me. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm happy to show young people around and like go crazy because that's what I did normally. But like, they're not coming. I was like, did you even ask this guy if he wants to party? One guy came, he's like, I don't want to party. I was like, who? Why did you give him to me? What do you want me to do? Go to a movie? It's a Friday night in college. So I beg people, I'm like, can somebody else take this kid? But you never know. Like, they're so important, right? Like, getting those kids who could make a difference. It's so important, and I think it's changed, and I've seen it change. We've talked with what's his name, who was the coordinator for a long time. I'm blanking on his name. The center who played center for us. Now he's
Casey Robach.
Casey, dude, you see him? Like, if you're sitting outside of Bratz before a game, they're driving dudes around in the Bucky golf cart.
The golf carts, yeah.
And you can see them, and you know who they are, and their parents, and the whole entire landscape of recruiting has changed so drastically that
Bernie,
you got to keep up with
an official visit. I'm going to guess you didn't do a photo shoot.
No, I definitely did not do a photo shoot.
Yeah, because every guy who comes in now has like a big ornate photo shoot for social media. Like, can you imagine if you had showed up and they'd put you in the 45 or whatever number, and you had to go and you were going out there like flexing for the camera and stuff like that? I can actually imagine you doing that. Who am I kidding? Like, you would have.
You know what? So I couldn't get a jersey at Wisconsin for my high school jersey. I was 80.
I know that.
So do you know who was 80 at Wisconsin? They retired.
80 when you would have showed up?
I mean, he was way before me. One of the best wide receivers ever.
Oh, was it Altoon?
Altoon.
Yeah.
So they're like, dude, you can't have 80. And I was like, I don't even know if I want 80 as a fullback. Like, didn't make sense. So they gave me 49.
You didn't want to disrespect a Jet like that.
No, I know. Also, I also had no idea what a retired jersey really was. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's up on the stadium. Like, it's not mine. So yeah, but I don't even know I mean, there was no social media. So what's the point of doing a photo shoot? They did like the mug shot I just showed at the beginning of this is the headshot that they played everywhere. Actually, my last year was when they started having, you can like move on the jumbo screen.
On the Jumbotron, yeah.
And we still didn't really move. Like, if you look at me, it was like still mugshot and like and you saw me kind of sway a little bit, but that was about it.
I thought they at least had you guys do it with like, I thought they used to use the pictures with you guys in like the shirt and tie and sports coat.
That was for the booklet you'd get.
Mm.
So that was another funny thing, because they didn't tell you when you were doing it. They're like, all right, running backs, you guys are going up at 1:00. No shave, no, like, hair looks terrible. And then you just put on literally a lineman size white shirt because you didn't need to see it, with the tie that just kept going up and down, and a black jacket that was a lineman size. And you took a picture, like, and it looked hard. It looked good in the book, but it looked horrible when you were just sitting there in shorts and like the sailboat size shirt. And everyone wore the same one pretty much. I mean, they had smaller sizes for the smaller guys, but it was so stupid. Like, that was the photo shoot. And you just wanted to get it done because it was at camp and you had a break from 1 to 3. And this took up your time. That's what I also love about football. It never took up any time other than your time. So your nap time, that's when they scheduled other things for you to do, like your headshot. So I'm like, that used to be very frustrating or hilarious, depending on how you look at it. Not so funny when you wanted to take a nap. But at least they're going to camp this year, Matt Perkins. I think that was, the whole – I love that they do that.
Yeah.
I love that they do that. Another crazy thing, and like we talk about this all the time, is the team locked up right now, or can guys still transfer in?
Portal's closed.
So the portal's closed. So now is when right? It ended after spring ball.
Yeah.
So think about how crazy this is. Now you know who your guys are, but that's nuts. You go through so much time not knowing and planning for X, Y, and Z, and it could change. Well, now it can't, but we're 2.5 months from the season, and you don't know the guys you might like. I don't know. The whole thing just is wonky to me. It's just bananas.
Burn. I guess this is a bigger question. Like, will college football even still be college football in like 10 years? Like, will it actually like, will there be any student part of the student athlete left?
I think if we're on this track that we're on currently with no kind of rules or law,
no guardrails,
this is and I think it is not any student athlete's fault. They are doing what they are allowed to do, and I would do this. Everyone would do the same thing, right? You can make money off of yourself. It's what everyone does. Everyone does in their job. They do it, right? You have some skill, right? Matt Perkins, you're like this amazing multimedia person. I can talk to people, so there you go. But everyone has a skill, right? And you're making money off of it. You get a job and you make money. I would do the same thing here, right? So without guardrails, without a contract, without something that says you'll stay here for 3 years, or you can only transfer twice without a penalty, or once without a penalty. I don't know what the rules are. There could be so many. There could be so little. If your head coach leaves, they used to let people leave. That could still happen. Like there can be addendums to rules that I think can make this so much easier. But without a contract, I mean, kids are still going to make a boatload of money. It's not like we're going to take the money aspect and diminish that. They're still going to make that money. It's the being part of a team, building a culture. You're going to watch a lot of teams just die. And I think that's the saddest part. Also, what about our walk-on culture? How on earth are we going to keep? There's no way.
Well, not only that, but because of the new roster limits, they have to cut down the number of players on roster, and that means bye-bye to a lot of those great walk-ons.
I mean, it just seems like what does the NCAA do all day? Besides like count they just count one. What I can't, was it like Scrooge McDuck that would take like his cash from one side of the room and move it to the other and then do that the next day? Like, what are these guys doing? Come up with some kind of plan. I could ask ChatGPT to come up with a plan and the thing could probably figure it out. Probably costs like $1 million in electric bill, but like, I don't know, ask AI to do it for you and just go off of that. I mean, guys, why don't we have contracts that are longer than 2 years?
Because there's no union
for the players.
Yeah.
No, listen, and then build a union. It should be an NFL model.
Yeah.
3 years, 4-year contracts, pay them more for 4 years. We're down a rabbit hole again.
I think when you sign your national letter of intent, that should be that needs to be a 2-year contract.
I think it should, unless your coach leaves.
Head coach is fired, not leaves on his own accord.
Ooh, interesting. See, these are a lot of asterisks. But I think, listen, we could come up with this rule. You just say this or this, and it's just a lock.
And after 2 years, you can have free transfer, go anywhere, play immediately if you want to, or stay, whatever. Transfer again, got to sit out a year unless you have graduated.
Yeah.
It's like grad transfers, get that free, don't have to sit out. On your second transfer, you're sitting out a year.
Or it could be on your third. I don't want to. So I'm all for the student. You could make a mistake, but it could be on 2. It could be you sit out 3 games. Whatever it is something. And there is nothing. And you can go to you can just go to every single team to get paid more. So I think, to get back to your original question, I think college football is it's in shambles in what's going on. And if they don't correct it, you're only going to have super teams. You're only going to have these teams that win.
And I am like, we're in the Big Ten, right, Bernie? And so like we are in one of the 2 power seats. I still don't like what's happening. I still hate this consolidation of power around basically 2 conferences. I don't like the way that the Big Ten and the SEC are just trying to are changing the playoff again and just trying to I don't want it to be just the Big Ten and the SEC. Even if that means Wisconsin's more likely to get into the playoff, like one of the things I grew up loving about college football is the Boise States of the world, is, the random MAC team or that makes a run, or
the Big East.
Forest is 11-2 one year or something.
The
like
ACC,
that, right?
the Big, they had so many,
going back to the WAC, right? Like someone like the great, Timmy Chang Hawaii team, stuff like that. I want to see that. It's fun. This is supposed to be fun. I don't need to see a 7-5 SEC team in the darn postseason. I'm sorry, I don't.
Well, until there's some kind of rules put into place, and they can be positive for the student athletes. They don't have to be negative, but we're in a place of you can do whatever you want. So it literally is still the wild, wild west. There's the portals open. What you said, 3 times a year, twice
a year.
I mean, was it? We had a guy transfer in and then transfer out.
Two of them
in the same semester.
They were there for 3 months.
So this is what is a negative in college sports, big time.
Big time. But Bernie, no matter what happens, guess what? We're going to be here to talk about it. The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So we appreciate everyone tuning in here to Believe in Badgers. We'll be back again soon. June's a little wonky. Bernie's traveling. I'm traveling. We're going to get to you guys some shows as much as we can. But be prepared, because once July comes around, you're not going to be able to get rid of us. So we'll be back in the meantime. So we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to check us out on YouTube, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, rate, review, all that good stuff. So thanks for tuning in to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by Oak Bridge Wealth Management. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. On Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.
Technology. Fix it in post.